StarCraft 2 Co-op, the series where multiple commanders are shown and multiple bad choices are made, specifically by me. Plagued by the spamming of the same unit making up entire armies, and to save all of your brain cells, especially from the last few videos, I will end the video as soon as this crime against humanity is shown of spamming more than one unit, which I definitely do not practice.
Sequences spun, swarm.
Mass frenzy is now ready.
I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. Going forward in this video, something important I have to say is that a bad idea is only a bad idea if it doesn't work or ends up as a funny story. So yes, the loss of life at any amount is a laughable topic. No greater commander comes close to this loss of life like Zagara. There are many contenders, but Zagara is on top, with the side of genocide and the value of life being nothing. This commander is my favorite by far out of any other commander in the game, because her strategies are the strategies that really shouldn't work at all, but they actually do. Like when I was playing her, I thought, you can't just only use one unit the entire game and win easily. At least I thought it would be an uphill battle, the odds stacks against you. Then I played the first matches and, However, that is to be suspected. The whole idea of the high-risk, high-reward routes are found in her unique abilities to shoot herself in the foot, or feet to be more accurate, while also making it easier because somehow it is a huge trade-off of army size for cheaper, faster units. No, not faster speed-wise, but faster birthing rate. The whole spamming strategy is undoubtedly the way you play Zagara, is that you're insanely strong against everything your units are able to reach or hit, because screw you AoE, we have more than enough bodies to throw at you. You have to find the right method to counter the weakness of your army, which is most likely air, so that your army isn't sitting around like a bunch of shitters getting chipped away by every goddamn rocket. The only counter that is actually useful around every scenario, and I mean you can make a section of your army to compensate each other, but where's the fun and balance where you can rush over enemies in less than 30 seconds, where everything is gone, both you and them? Zagara, without having a top bar, you already know this hero is going to be broken as all hell. Starting out or bursting out of her clearly sanitary egg sac, her power's not above 9,000, but she's getting there. Able to dish out a solid 30 damage and can hit more than one targets when upgraded. They're called Medusa rounds, shooting 3 spines at 3 different enemies that is said to petrify enemies. I think I would be too if I was about to hit in the face with giant razor-sharp spines. For those pesky yet numerous troops ahead is a simple fix. Baneling Barrage is a great tool for eliminating any problem in front of Zagara by launching 6 suicide Banelings, which are mainly used for taking down smaller units in large numbers. Just make sure that when you're targeting more larger and tankier units like aberrations and hybrids of any type, make sure to hit the middle of them, because more collateral damage, more casualties is more success. And of course, just don't forget that casualties can go both ways, but whatever, what do I know? Since most of the troops you'll be producing will be ground attackers, which for the same reason should be obvious, Zagara is going to need to compensate for that tiny problem left, which is called air, that becomes quite fatal, because apparently claws can't reach 20 feet into the air and slap the shit out of any enemy in the sky. I'm no professional, but that would definitely be a great feature in the game they could, but I guess Zagara is gonna have to do. Dealing with the constant problem in air, because don't worry, you're gonna have it. You have the Hunter Killers, spawned by Zagara, and they are a strain of Hydralisks, sniping anything in range with Fury, because these shots travel really fucking fast, so increased health, damage, and a huge fire rate bonus. And you might be thinking, I'm gonna use all these and make an army of them. Haha, wrong. Hold your horses, or Hydralisks to be more accurate. Only use it for air. You can use it for ground, but I would highly not recommend it. I would show a clip of a bad decision of me actually doing that, but the footage is, well... Anyways, here is the crown jewel of Zagara's kit that makes her trample and curve stomp every threat to your well-being in a flash, which I like to call the Purple Tide. Such foes that threaten your very existence includes, but not exclusive to, dumbass hybrids, beefy structures, large number of enemies, and in-laws. Activated by Zagara with a shockingly short cooldown, turning all troops into the Purple Tide, which instantly increases attack speed, and movement speed, washing over enemy bases and waves on one side, and on the other side, nothing. They're all dead, or you're all dead. A bad idea is only a bad idea if it doesn't work. It's more like a flip of the coin, and most of the time, Zagara is going to be the only one alive. I guess it's important to share it with your ally, but to hell with them. I mean, what do you think this is? A cooperative game mode? Finally, breaking sieges and defensive fortifications is the Dark Skies ability, an outrageously large cooldown and dealing an absurd amount of damage. Word of warning is that the damage they do is actually more valuable when the draw pods make impact on the ground rather than the roaches deployed from it actually do the attack. I mean, I guess they're a meat shield, but still. Target the enemy fortifications and let the sky fall. Focusing on the only important person here, me, I mean, in this case, it would be you since you'll be playing, hopefully, is the base. The base works in a very different way than any other commander because it involves the most amount of maintenance. It's a little confusing, but let me elaborate a little more. In the harsh crystal fields of your drones for a limited time deal, you can buy one drone and get the second one half off. Yes, you heard it right. Resource gathering has never been easier, and maxing out production and construction way earlier than anyone else. Just get your ass going because you're gonna need those resources because casualties are actually the important part of Zagara's kit. Do you have enough queens? Sitting back to pump new larvae into hatcheries whenever you can. More lava, more troop replenishments. Trust me, you're going to need it. Swarmling, probably the most dangerous of the bunch, the smallest of the bunch, and the least damaging of the bunch, gets the most deadly. How did this happen? Well, let me tell you. The difference between a swarmling and a zergling is a zergling will hatch 2 per egg and take a little bit of time. Swarmlings will hatch instantly and make 3 per egg, which again, one swarmling doesn't do a lot of damage. 100 swarmlings does do a lot of damage. It honestly is a little scary. Despite screen-breaking large numbers, they need a constant replacement because Zagara lacks all forms of care, so no healing for them. Yeah, Zagara is so cold-hearted that it's easier to replace damaged troops and let them die so that you can replace them with fresh ones and actually caring for them. These units lack all forms of health despite armor upgrades, being able to deal more damage and reducing enemy armor. They have 0 health and 0 damage, which is why large numbers plus the infested frenzy makes them into a very feral bunch just tearing apart anyone or anything unfortunately to step in its path. The more expensive side of things becomes more, expensive with the creation of aberrations. Armor killers that are capable of spam in large numbers at your own risk. Not your risk, your economy's risk. Trust me, these guys cost hella bread. They aren't as cheap as swarmlings, but you won't hopefully lose as many as swarmlings. They cost precious ginger ale, so take care of them. Even their attacking or slapping enemies is weird yet effective, which is funny because their creator calls them sloppy yet effective. Having a tanky amount of health, it allows it to take quite a bit of punishment. Keep in mind though that they aren't invincible. I learned that the hard way. Since aberrations can be costing you so much, they do have one real big redeeming quality besides their ability to kill armor and take massive beatings, which is 2 Baneling sacks upon death. When they die, and trust me, it takes a while for them to do that, they will release and cause havoc on the front line, unless of course it's air, then you're kind of screwed in that category. Don't take it too much to heart though, because even though they can't hit flying units, Baneling damage is still a lot of damage, and they get to keep the upgrades of normal Banelings. Conveniently placed right after that from my script writer is Banelings. Banelings can be created in 3 different ways, some more ginger ale expensive than others. 1. More from swarmlings at a small price for each unit. Second method, aberrations are able to drop 2 on death, which makes the travel convenient while the cost, well, not so much. 3. Baneling Nest Commander level 7 will be able to make 4 Banelings for free every 30 seconds. No matter what way you cut the situation, casualties are inevitable and you'll have to deal with them whether you like it or not. Which wanted me to name this video Suicide and Replace, but apparently it's against the whole YouTube guidelines and all. So here we have a classic case of the Expendalings, where death is inevitable and the only way to help is to let death happen and make fresh new ones. Thank God they're not around to actually hear about the replacements. In case you're the odd heretic that makes a mixed army with Zagara, first off, I have to wonder, what the hell are you thinking? And of course, secondly, keep in mind that creating an all-air army leaves Zagara vulnerable to every single thing. Taking control over air, space, or not only just in chunkiness, but in damage are the Corruptors. Expensive as all hell, but makes spamming a little difficult, but not out of the realm of possibilities, like Aberrations. Looking as stupid as Aberrations, though, I have to say. Like, I have never heard a single StarCraft 2 player ever say that the Aberration and the Corruptors look badass in any way. And if you do, I got one question for you. Why though? Price and ugliness are similarities, which is just the start. Like, can we talk about how totally professional the attack method is? While Corruptors don't slap enemies, they shoot spores, which sounds completely sanitary in every possible way compared to its ability to, let's see here, what does it say here? Throw up on units. I read that right. No, I read that right. Allowing your army to deal a whopping 35% more damage when you throw up on them. This, however, only works on ground units and requires micromanaging to use in an effective way. Hence why there's no footage found of me actually using it, because it requires this thing called high-level skill. Corruptors are ugly as all hell, as I've said before, but they do have air superiority. I will give them that. But you're not really going to use them too often, considering they're only air superiority and they have zero defense against ground besides high health. Only Aberrations and Swarmlings are what you're mainly going to use. With Zagara, it's all about how much bodies you can throw at them before you win, rather than actually thinking about flanking maneuvers, using certain army compositions. Like, why fight with a mind when you can fight with primal instincts? Conveniently leading to my next unit of pure fun and zero skill is Scourges. Much like the relationship between Banelings and Aberrations, when this army of Corruptors dies, and they will eventually, they will automatically start with the upgrade that allows them to break off into 2 Scourges. Think of them as flying Banelings, except they can't attack ground and only air. Fast suicide units that are able to delete targets of interest when in small numbers, but in large numbers they, well... Building out of the base is only recommended in mid to late game because these guys cost hella bread and they're suicide units. You're not exactly gonna do well in the refund area or the value. I have to admit, when I was recording this video, I have never seen an objective die so quickly to a mass amount of these. Like, I even struggle to get the exact framing. Like, I can't even show the full thing because it dies that quickly. Though if we can take one lesson of this, is that flying objects are really good at killing enemies, and more so, they're really good at taking down buildings. I really hope something bad doesn't come of this. Her aggressive playstyle is very much the playstyle that you'll have to do, because even though her kit has quite the defensive structure, I would recommend to not use it, but use it. Don't get me wrong, the bio launcher is really powerful. It does tons of damage and in a really big area, and it's basically an artillery. The only problems is it's manually targeting, it doesn't track units, so as soon as you click one area, it's gonna keep firing in that one area. It does a relatively small amount of damage to really tanky enemies like hybrids, and then of course the range is god-awful, even though it's an artillery and it can be increased. It's powerful, but I would question as rather the Zagara's on defense rather than attacking. If anything, she should be one of the last commanders to ever be defending. I'm really not trying to make this video as negative as it sounds. I mean, Zagara's a really fun character. It's just that her playstyle is very restricted to only a few strategies. Now, this doesn't mean that the commander is not fun to play. She's really entertaining to play, and there can be a lot of strategy. It's just I don't put a lot of thinking when I go and I play Zagara. That's a commander I go to just basically goof off. So ending the video, so you already know what the hell is about to happen. So just in case you don't know, and playing the commander, whether you win or lose, you're going to be rewarded with XP. Said XP will go up to 15 levels. After 15 levels, you get these mastery stuff. And this mastery stuff for Zagara is really good. The first being about the Zerg, or to be more accurate about Zagara. Attack damage will always be a reliable upgrade, but I feel that having more HP and energy regenerations, you'll get more value because you'll able to pop abilities more often. Like if you have a ground army, then all of a sudden a wave of air enemies attacks you, you're able to actually keep those hunter killers out longer, and whenever there's more enemies, you can just keep throwing banelings at them. Trust me, it works. So I would say overall, the damage is good, especially when you mix it with the Medusa rounds, but overall, I think that the energy regeneration and health is just more versatile to any situation. Power set 2 should be obvious one, because to use just one in the case people don't know, it's pretty simple. Zergling Evasion might seem like a really good one to use, especially since most of your army is going to be consisting of that. But the thing is that when they do get hit, they'll still die, and when they die, Baneling Barrage is going to be overall just a better ability, only because Zagara is going to live longer than almost every other army unit. She's going to live 3 generations of Zerg. So I would recommend going with the Baneling charge, so you're able to cull down enemies in large numbers and in higher damages. Power set 3, because you know I'm going straight to the Infested Frenzy. One of the greatest strategies known to man is overwhelming with numbers, whether you're ill-equipped or the weather is just not favoring you. It just works at the end of the day. However, the lives lost, of course, is higher, but still, that's clutter. Upgrading the speed and attack of enemies that can go well over 100%, making the Purple Tide even deadlier than what they already was at base level. And to be honest, the roaches are only used for the impact of the pods, not the roaches' lives or the time duration that they have on them. Again, they're used for meat shield, and then there's just the initial impact. Everyone watching this video, if you are playing the game, go with this skill 100% of the way. You are going to get so much return. I mean, you can help your allies now, but they're secondary. Hopefully with this newfound knowledge, your bad decisions and army composition will end up as funny stories, or just might end up working. Trust me when I say this, this hero is probably the most entertaining one to play, but probably the least brain power required to actually playing this hero. A quick note is that the hero, along with the other 3 heroes, the one from the previous video and the 2 from the next video, come in one pack. You cannot buy them individually, but you get them all in one pack with every single campaign. And it does a really good job teaching the game and the basics and the controls. I would highly recommend getting this. It's great value for the price, especially nowadays. And that's about it. Thank you all for tuning into this episode where losing valuable troops is actually a benefit as long as it works in the end, no matter the stupid decision. Next time, we're going to be looking at a commander where the only thing your troops can do is leave for the milk. This is ToxicSpill, and remember, do stuff you love.